Yeah, the dumber zone, I think.
That
Dumber Zone.
they were nice guys.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Speaking of emotional centeredness and just raw emotion and sharing stories, the Cowboys did it to me again. They did it to me again, dude. And Jake said it. Jake said it. He was like, "Here's what's gonna happen," and it happened. I was so pumped before Detroit.
I'm telling you, and you know when I talk about this, it's not y'all.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah,
I am a Cowboy hater, have always been, but
true.
it's mostly because of the fans.
Mm,
The fans are unfucking bearable. And I'm not talking about like regular fans. I'm not talking about regular fans like y'all. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm talking about these jort wearing jersey, these motherfuckers that they watch the one game every week and that's it. They don't know anything else about the NFL. They don't
right.
watch any other game. They don't know
Yeah,
anything else.
they don't know
And
scheme. They don't know
no, they don't.
context. They
No,
don't.
they have
Yeah,
no idea who they're playing next, who they played last. They're just living for that day. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it or anything. But those are the kind of people that make that unbearable. It's like fuck the Cowboys and then winning a Super Bowl for those people. Like I wouldn't mind y'all being happy, celebrating after 30 years like I would love it. But it means that all these other assholes all get to have and I can't have that. That's what pisses me off is these other people, these unbearable ass. And like we've talked about this before. I am a Redskins fan, have been a Redskins fan my whole life. And we've basically been the same. You know what I mean? Won we won 3 Super Bowls within the 10 years from like 85 to 95. Y'all won 3 Super Bowls. We won 3 Super Bowls. We were in the streak of the Buffalo games that they went back to back.
right,
We won a
right.
super. We beat them, and during that streak, Washington also won their last Super Bowl during that streak. So we're not that different. We've
No,
both teams have sucked for 30 years. And I know that, and I get excited. I got excited last year. We had a
I
really
know.
good year last year with Jake, but I'm also a Redskins fan, and I know what it's like to get kicked in the balls. So I get excited, but I'm also a realist.
True.
I'm not an idiot, you know what I mean? I know that, okay. You know what I mean? But again, this is not talking about normal fans like you and the guys on the
Right,
pod.
right.
I'm talking about all these assholes out here that like they win one game and they're like, "Oh man, we're back. It's Super Bowl." It's like, come
Them
on, dude. Like,
boys.
where have you been the last 30 years? Like, where have you been? You know what's gonna happen. You know exactly what's gonna happen. You know the script. It
Yeah,
goes the same every year. And yeah, one day that script is gonna change. But I
it's got
guarantee
to.
you'll be able to you're gonna be able to tell, you're gonna see. But like I said, to me, the reason I hate them is because the fucking fans are just unbearable. They're unrealistic. I don't see even like I said, I don't know, even listening to the ticket or even the pod sometimes, the guys sometimes, like I don't understand if you have your cowboy glasses on, because I've always, the Seinfeld episode where I think it's one of the later seasons where Elaine has to run the catalog because
Yeah.
Peterman goes off,
So
and
his journey. Yeah.
yeah, and Kramer convinces her like, hey, I'm a black belt. I become, I'm the top of my class in my karate class or whatever. And so yeah, that gets her all hyped up, right? But then she finds out that he's been beaten up on like 10-year-old you know and that's what I've always compared this kind of thing to is like I'm a Redskins fan and I get excited, of course. I love it when they win and when they beat a team and everything, but I'm also realistic. It's like, okay, well, it was the Giants, like it was still a good win, but you know what, we'll see when they play X team. I know this team is way better or
Right.
whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what happens every year with the Cowboys. People get all excited, but it's like, look who they beat, though. And yes, they've had some games this year that they've beaten teams that they're not supposed to beat. But you can't. That just doesn't continue. That don't happen. Just like any team will lose a game or whatever. But like I
Well,
said, that's what I
yeah.
compare it to. People. Imagine if this was boxing, right? Like, have you ever seen the Great White Hype, the movie?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson and
Yes.
like it's like imagine, right? And this is what I hear sometimes when I listen to a ticket or other people talk about like what's happening. It's like you're basically saying like, look at the Cowboys. Yes, but let's turn it into a boxing thing, right? Let's say you heard, oh man, this guy has won 7 fights in a row. and you're like, oh shit, like, it's time to give him a shot. But then, but then they tell you, yeah, but he's been beating like 3-year-olds. Doesn't that change your perspective? And then, but it seems that for Cowboy fans, it doesn't matter that he's been beating up on 7-year-olds. Now, when you go up against a real man, like he's ready. It's like, no, he's not, and they're not. And like I said, and that's what happens every year.
Yep.
And every year they have these wins, just like they beat Kansas City. They'll have these wins. They happen every year. They have a win where they're not supposed to win, but then they also have like Arizona games and Chicago games and Carolina games and these games where you're not
Sure.
supposed to lose and you
Sure.
lose. And like I said, it happens to every team. My team sucks. But like
Yeah.
I said, the difference is that I know that my team sucks. And I taper my expectations, even my excitement. Even like I said, even though we had a great year last year, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for the kick in the nuts because I've been a Redskins fan for 30 years and I know I'm
Right.
gonna get kicked in the nuts.
Right.
But Cowboy fans seem to not remember that you're about to get kicked in the nuts like you have for the past 30 years. And until you actually do something, then get excited. But like I said, this happens every year. That's the only credit I give Junior is his book of like, hey, how to not buy, don't buy into it because you
Sure.
know exactly how this is gonna end.